Hey folks, Frank Zorrilla here, Zor Capital, 24th of November, 6:40 p.m. Doing a weekly video where we're going to go through the top momentum stocks to see if we can find some winners for tomorrow specifically and maybe perhaps for the rest of the week. Just to let you know, I'll go through some charts just to let you know how I look at charts and what I'm looking for to find something that could potentially make a move in the short term. But first, let's take a look at the SPY, something that I don't like to talk about too much. I don't like talking about the indices that much, and the reason why is because, in my opinion, you just can't analyze every single candle, right? It's not every candle or every day has a meaning. Sometimes things are random, and you should be holding on as core positions, the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, as core holdings for the most part forever, and you should not be sweating the up and downs, the day-to-day action of the indices. Okay, lately we've been talking about how the S&P 500 has been trading above the upper Bollinger Band. It's meant nothing at all for the last 3 weeks, but last week we came back below it. Maybe we're a little tired, who knows, but it looks okay. We're still above the 10-day moving average. We've been pretty much flatlining ever since the all-time high chatter started getting louder, and they started picking on the bears on Twitter and stock twits. We just pretty much have flattened out. We've been flat for the most part for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And it really doesn't matter much because underneath the surface, we've seen some stocks do well. Specifically stocks that are not part of the indices. QQQ, similar situation. Just like the S&P 500, not much there to see. We're underneath the 10-day moving average. The first time in a long time since the beginning of October. But, again, as a core holder of the Qs for the long term, the day-to-day action is pretty much irrelevant. IWM. This one had a very strong move, okay? This 160 level has been, quite the level. We've been going sideways here. If you go back, we're at the same price in the IWM for the last 2 years for the most part, as you can see right over here. But again, we've been trading sideways ever since reaching 160. We've been going sideways to slightly down for the last 18 days. Okay, that's almost 3 weeks. This looks a little vulnerable, but whatever. What we care about is the stocks underneath the surface. So what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks is looking at the stocks with the top momentum, okay? What we're going to do today, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to look at the stocks with the top momentum names, the top 200 momentum names. But this time, I'm put an extra filter to get the stocks that have been somewhat consolidating over the last 3 to 4 weeks, okay? So let's see what we have here. And if you haven't seen my other videos, you're going to realize that the top momentum names those are the stocks that have performed the best over the last 3 to 6 months. Typically, these stocks are not your name brand companies. Most of these stocks are small cap companies under $20 a share, under 100 million share float. Some make money, some don't. Like for example, ISEE, biotech stock that goes from $1.50 to $4. It's been trading sideways, nothing here for me. INMD, recent IPO. This is, it's got a lot of momentum here in the short term. I don't know what happened here specifically, but this is a big downturn. We'll see how it develops. Rita, another biotech stock. Had a decent move here based on FDA approval. Nothing here for me for this week. Fit was a buyout. VNTR, no. RareX, another buyout. IVC, nothing here for me. What I'm looking for is for stocks to have some type of momentum and a consolidating, so that way we can get involved in the second leg higher. Let me give you a perfect example here. Tesla reported the numbers. The stock traded 29 million shares, which is huge. Look at this volume. The next day, 29 million shares, and then it traded sideways to down for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 6-7 days actually, and this was a big winner for us. Again, when you get these type of situations, holding through earnings, there's no edge there. Okay, so you get this big move, you're gonna miss this unless you're a day trader and you get involved in this one particular day. What you want to do is you want to wait for the proper setup, the sideways to down action, and then you want to pounce on it. And what usually happens, okay, when you get this type of setup is that right before the stock is getting ready to move higher, the candles, they start to tighten up a little bit. You get tighter and tighter candles, as you can see right over here. The volume starts to contract a little bit. That's when you know that whoever was selling the stock is pretty much, he's pretty much done. So here's what you want to look for. Let's see, KOP, here's another one. My assumption here, this was probably based on earnings. Right over here, a big move higher. It's been trading sideways to down. I believe that in the short term, what works best is momentum and mean reversion. This is a mean reversion type play where the stock is down multiple days in a row. Okay, this is one of my favorite plays when the stock is down 3 days or more in a row. And what you look for is you want to change of this pattern. What we have here is a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. So here for a trade, KOP specifically for tomorrow, I like the stock going through 38.58 with a stop over here at 37.89. What that means is that my buy stop will be 10 cents above Friday's highs at 38.68, and my original stop is 37.89. Now, in the short term, stocks move in small little bursts that might last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Sometimes even 10, but usually 3 to 5 days you get that big momentum burst, and then stocks go down to sideways. Like for example here, nice little 3 days action sideways. Here you get a big day and then it just sideways. Most stocks, that's just the way they trade. Okay, and even if you've been listening or hearing about Jim Simons, most successful billion-dollar fund who's made more money than anyone else in the market, their average holding period is roughly 2 days, according to the book, according to a podcast by the author Zuckerman. 2 days. So these guys are code breakers. There's the edge, okay? So that's the way most stocks, that's the way they trade for the most part. GNC, again, here's a mean reversion play. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Lower highs, lower lows. I like the stock going for Monday for tomorrow through 297. Buy stop 307. Stop the lower of the day 284. Now, I get the feeling that more than likely we're going to get a lot of names since the IWM has been flatlining for the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to put these names out there, and it's going to be your job to narrow down whatever list I come up with based on your beliefs. I know that I'm looking at this stock GNC, and I jotted down GNC as a buy. More than likely, I am going to cut this by tomorrow just because I'm not a big fan of buying $2 stocks. LLNW Limelight here's a stock, right? Big move on earnings, goes up for 4 days, sideways action. We got involved right over here in this day, 11-12, long for 438 through the previous day high. Top momentum stock. And it went up immediately, but the next day it sold off. Then it was down 3 days in a row, making a mean reversion play for me. Printed an inside day. Look at the volume here. 377,000 shares versus the average 20-day volume of roughly 1 million shares. This is what I told you guys just a couple of minutes ago, that what you typically see in these high top momentum names is that once the stock is ready to move higher, you get these tight candles on very low volume. And this was a signal. Long, 11.19 at 442. Now, I sold some at 465, up 5%, and unfortunately, the stock traded lower, and I got stopped out of the rest here. But this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for these contraction moves, and then we're looking to play them as they go through that high. DCPH, biotech stock, biotechs and software stocks have been doing pretty well recently. MPTN, again, here's another stock here. Big move higher, more than likely based on numbers. The stock is down multiple days in a row, lower highs and lower lows. Here's the anchor VWAP, which I think it's a great little tool that doesn't get used a lot. Anchor VWAP for this big up day. This just tells you who's in control, the buyers and sellers, and clearly the price is above, the buyers are in control. I like the stock MPTN going through 826. That means that my buy stop would be 836 with a initial stop at the low of the day, which is $7.99. And again, I get the feeling that we're going to get a lot of stocks today. So slowly but surely, by tomorrow, I'm going to narrow down this list even further. VIPs, Chinese play. I bought the stock right over here in this breakout, had to sell it right before the earnings came out, which was right over here. It was weird because the numbers came out and the stock pre-market went as high as $14.50, $15, I think. Might have been right over here or something. But either way, came back down. This stock looks good. I had a buy stop order on Friday going through this high at 12.35, but the high was only 12.32. It still looks good to me going through 12.32. That means that a buy stop is at 12.42 with a stop at 11.90. That's an initial stop of 11.90. And again, like I told you, that most of these stocks, they move in bursts. What does that mean? Look at this move higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then sideways to down. 1, 2, 3, 4, sideways to down. Here we get a 4-day move, and then here we get a little bit, a much bigger move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This usually doesn't happen, but then look what happens. Sideways to down for roughly, call it 18 days, 26 days, 18 bars, 18 trading days. And as swing traders, we are in the moving business, okay? So what we're looking to do is take advantage of a stock that's just getting started. We want that first move higher. We want to be involved in that first day when we get that range expansion. And then we want to be selling in days 3, 4, 5. And then we want to take that money and put it into something that's just getting started in day 1. So very simply, you want your buys to be on day 1 of that first initial move higher. You want to start selling days 3, 4, 5. You want to take that money off the table and then put it into something that's just getting started on the first day. The target is always up, okay? Target is always up. We have no idea what the stock is going to give us. A lot of it depends on what's going on with the market. We have a hot market. A company that has a small flow might give you anywhere between 10 to 20%. A high price stock, we're talking about dollar terms. But that all depends on what's going on with the market. I know that the stocks that I traded this past week, some of them were, some decent winners. Like, for example, D-Dog. It gave us that, 1-2 day move and it sold off immediately. You look at Ping, P-I-N-G, same thing. We got involved going through this high right over here at 1905. Gave us a 2-day move and that is it. So that's something you need to be aware of how stocks are moving in this current time. So VIPS is the only one, right? So out of all 4 stocks, KOP, GNC, MPTN, VIPS is the only one that more than likely will stay on my list. SBGL, gold, no. Here's another one. CRUS, all right, up big for this stock based on earnings. Here's the anchor VWAP, which means that buyers are still in control. The stock is down 5 days in a row, lower highs, lower lows. What we're looking for is a break of that pattern. So buy stop is 771, which is 10 cents above Friday's highs, and the initial stop is 69.22. Now, that's the initial stop. The following day, which is tomorrow, Monday, at the close, the stop is going to be at Monday's low. That'll be the stop, and it'll go on and on. It'll move higher, and I'll show you an example of exactly what I mean as far as raising stops for this one particular setup, which is stocks that are down 3 days in a row or more, which is a mean reversion play. And the reason why we wait for that pattern to break by by holding and waiting until the stock breaks the previous day high is because 3 days can turn into 4, 4 can turn into 5, 5 can turn into 6, and 6 can turn into 7, and so on and so on. So you want to wait for that pattern break. So far VIPs and CRUS are the ones. Sally, no, let's see here. So far we're 37 names deep, and not many name brand companies. Rite Aid is one that's got a big base. So here we have a stock that's been dominated by the sellers. The sellers have been in control, selling the stock relentlessly. You can see that just the simple downtrend. Once it gets over here, the stock does a reverse split, which sometimes could be very bullish for some of these names. And now you can see the stock has been trading sideways. All that means very simply that, the buyers and sellers found some type of equilibrium, and the sellers are either running out of stock to sell, or the buyers are getting a little bit more aggressive. They have more stock, more shares to buy, and you can see that. Why? Because here you have a pattern of higher lows. That means that the buyers are getting more aggressive. Here you have a stock that's been trading sideways for roughly 7 months. The bigger the base, the higher into space it goes. I like this stock. Okay, I already bought this stock twice, stopped out twice. 11.12. which is probably right over here. The stock was down multiple days in a row. Bought it through this high at 10.18, I believe, and then it just sold off immediately. Got involved again right over here on 11.16. Once it went through this high, but then once it faded again and went below the 20-day moving average, I sold it. The stock printed an inside day. You can see here on roughly 909,000 shares. The average 20-day volume is 1.9. So 909,000 shares, it's pretty much the lowest in a very long time. So now you have a candle contraction. You have the volume contraction. I like the stock going through 980 with a stop, with an initial stop right over here at 937, call it 930. So Rite Aid, CRUS, and VIPs. We got, quite a few stocks down 3 days in a row. That's just, this looks okay as well, going through 1067. Let's see if we can find something a little bit better. Here's an example also. Stock goes sideways. It goes up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, down. Then it goes up again. This is the reason why you don't want to buy stocks that are up multiple days in a row. You don't want to chase stocks up 5, 6, 7 days in a row, because again, more than likely what's going to happen is you're going to sit with some type of drawdown or sideways action. Okay? And again, as a swing trader, knowing that the market structure is very simply that stocks move up in small bursts that might last 3 to 5 days, you want to continue to just move your money around. If you are a swing trader, if you have a piece of your account, a small piece, for swing trading, that's the way you can compound small returns into big returns. Let's see what else we have here. I'm staying away from the stocks that are down multiple days in a row, because that's a completely different scan for me. Right now, what I'm looking for is stocks that are just tightening up, flag patterns maybe, going sideways. That's what I'm looking for now. Here's, this one, oof, and tap. Here's one here. The only problem for me here is 179,000 shares. That's tough. But here's a stock that went up big, probably based on earnings, 1024, traded sideways. You can see here the anchor VWAP, prices above that VWAP. I mean, this looks good, going through 103.36 with a stop at $100.99. My only concern here is the volume. AMAT was downgraded. RNG. big move based on some type of contract, sideways for the most part, down 3 days in a row. You got to be aware that the software application names have been doing well recently. I like the stock going through 170.95 with an initial stop at 167.13, which is Friday's low. Target is up. We're looking to get out in days 3, 4, 5. And what the market gives us within that time frame, no one knows. All right, we are 100 names, 114 names. Here's another one. This is not bad at all. $470,000 shares, 244.18 with a stop at 240. ZBRA. So again, the high here is 244.18. Buy stop is 244.28 with a stop at 240. We have no idea if these stocks are going to trigger, but that is the trigger price. The trigger price is Friday's highs. That, the alerts goes off on my screen, and then I get an opportunity, a chance, to put the order in 10 cents above the market price. All right, we're 21 minutes in, so I'm going to leave it here. And we found a whole, we found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 names. So I am going to narrow down this list a little bit further and just keep Phipps, Rite Aid, RNG, and Zebra. And then the miscellaneous one are KOP, GNC, NPTN, and GPI. So that's all, folks.